going into this year?
Coach Belcher's taught us a lot of stuff. You know, he stepped in right after Coach Mooney and just keeps harping on us. I mean, constantly. I mean, we have to be physical every game. We slack off one time, and you know that could be a sack for the quarterback, or the running back could be tackled in the backfield. We just have to listen to him every time. I mean, every step we have to drive and move. Just got to go.
Coach Belcher isn't that intimidating, do you think?
I mean, he's a pretty intimidating guy. I mean, when you see him mad, it's scary, I'll tell you.
He did add a compliment there, so he's trying to get on the good side before he turned to the bad side, I guess. So coming off a tough loss to Tennessee, I can't be disappointed in that game, though, because you were hanging right there with them. They're a 5A school, of course, from the Tennessee side. How do you get back on track against a Wise Central team?
Well, I mean, coming off of a loss, it's always rough. But with our team, I'm really not worried about how we play. We play so physical, we play so fast. I feel like we're just going to go out and show everything that we have. The biggest thing is coming off of a loss, you can't go back to the way you played. I mean, I don't think we slacked off at all. I just think there was some mental errors here and there. The biggest thing is we focused on practice, just fixing everything that we did wrong. And that's our biggest goal, is just to go out there and beat Central.
Other than even going back to that Tennessee High game, I think even when you go back and try to pick out some things that went bad, maybe the penalties, but really, like I said in the open, that play right before halftime where I know Coach Chris talked about it in the paper after the game, you get down by one touchdown right there at the half and just sort of backlogs on you, especially the way the second half started with the interception.
Yeah, exactly.
But even then, the defense able to make a stop in the red zone, and that's 2 or 3 times this year that's happened. John Battle, you had the interception on the first drive, and they got down and missed or had to block field goal there from Battle Hill. So it's really the defense has been able to get out of some sticky situations.
And that really helps the offense. That really takes a lot of pressure off of us. I have confidence in everybody on our team. It's amazing.
So no doubt you guys have watched a lot of film going into this week. Coach Belcher's already hit on it once. What stands out to you, and what should we expect this week?
Central, they're a fast team. They can play fast. Our biggest thing is just we just have to maintain our blocks. We have to drive the guys in front of us, and on the defensive side of the ball, we just have to play physical. You want to match the way your team plays, but we really just need to dominate is all we need to do.
And you guys have done that a lot this year, been very disciplined on your side of the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mark's very complimentary of the offensive line, so that's good. These guys don't get a lot of credit most of the time. I think all the running backs should be here to buy you guys wings.
Oh, yeah.
To take home.
Definitely.
They owe you something, I think. So.
We talked about earlier in the week, Dylan, you're not supposed to talk about offensive linemen unless they're doing bad things. That's
what Mark said. If we're mentioning offensive linemen, it's a bad thing. I don't think that's true. I think we need to mention you guys a little bit more, and we're lucky to have you on the show this afternoon.
Yeah.
We're glad you guys could make it down here to Buffalo Wild Wings in Bristol. And Daniel, you're not the biggest guy on the offensive line, in case you haven't looked around the offensive line lately. All the other starters are 207 pounds or more. You really on the smaller end of that spectrum from your on the other side of it. How do you use that mobility as an asset? Of course, you can beat them in a sprint, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. I use my strength and my speed. My main focus is to get to the block and then to just completely dominate the other man. I may not have the size like some of our offensive linemen do, but I definitely use my speed and my strength, and of course my experience on the line. So it's really just a combination of everything that I've learned, and of course my strength and speed.
I think people get tied in, especially with the offensive linemen. They look at the size, and you'll see them come out on the field, and you're like, man, that guy's huge. He must be a beast, an offensive lineman.
But
it's more technique-based than people think.
Really
you're not
is,
just.
Really
it's
is.
hard
Yeah.
to get away with. You're pretty much trying to hold them each play and not get away with it.
Yep.
And every now and then you get caught. Most of the time you don't.
That's right. Well, I feel like you guys keep taking all my questions out of my mouth tonight, but we talked about Wise Central being a speed-based front seven. What are the challenges for blocking linebackers and defensive backs up near the line of scrimmage?
Our biggest challenge is just to get off blocks. We have a lot of double team plays where the tackle or the guard comes down or the center or the guard comes down, and the biggest thing is just getting off that man and going to take the next level. Of course, we have some great running backs and a great quarterback who's able to get off plays, able to get off guys and run, but it's really just knowledge of assignment and just getting to where we need to be and fast and, of course, physical when we get there. So.
All right, before we get to the last question, Daniel, let's ask you, what's your favorite play so far of the year through this 3 weeks?
Probably my favorite play of the year was I guess it was Get Strong Battle when Jamie ran it right up the hole. It was kind of a QB keep type play, and I just kind of ran up the field, just hit whoever I could, and watched Jamie just run it in for the touchdown. I think that put us up the last score there before Michael touched it in. So I think it was like 28 to 12, 28 to 10, or 28 to 14. So
it's hard to keep up with how many times Jamie scrambled.
It really is.
He had a good scramble to open that game too. Whenever we went up 7-0.
Yeah, he's fast. I'll tell you, he gets out there.
Yeah, it's definitely an asset. And
Definitely.
for your final question, we're going to make you dig deep into the memory bank. What's your favorite moment of being a Bearcat over the last 4 years?
Probably my favorite moment was last year against Tennessee High. That game was just the crowd. Just being able to be in that game was intense. It was insane. There were so many people there, and it was so loud. It was definitely a different experience for a high school game, especially for Virginia High. Having that 100-year game, it was crazy.
Yeah, that was a special one, 100 years, and of course it's a rivalry that'll keep on going. Hopefully, it's a fun game to play, and I know you guys were excited to get into it. And going to win one of these.
Yes, we
coming up
definitely
next year, hopefully. So.
Oh yeah,
played well against them this year.
Yeah, you can't shake your head at what happened last week, man. That was
a
great, hard-fought effort.
It was a tough game. Of course, you really want to win one of those games. It was fairly close for most of the game, and there for a while, I really thought we were going to be able to take it away from them. So that's always our goal. Is if in those close games, we really got to rely on everything that we've been taught. The little things are what win us the game, and I really think it. Like you were saying earlier, it was just the penalties and just small mental errors that really hurt us. So.
Well, Daniel, thank you for joining us. I'd venture
to
say
I enjoyed it.
Daniel may have had the best interview of all the players so far. I'm gonna challenge Aaron Rose a little bit.
Thank you.
Yeah. So. Yeah, thank you for coming on. I know it's always a fun thing to get to talk on the radio.
Oh yeah, it's a great time. Thank you for having me.
Glad for it, and good luck Friday night. Up next, we're going to talk with Bearcat golf coach Carlos Lee. Fans, be sure to follow Bearcat Radio on social media. You can follow us on Twitter at VHS Bearcat Radio. Then at Facebook, you can search Bearcat Radio or go to Facebook.com/Bearcat Radio. Thank you, Daniel, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Virginia High Bearcat football on Spreaker Radio.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Can't get enough of Bearcat sports? Come to Buffalo Wild Wings at the Falls every Wednesday at 6:30 for the Bearcat Sports Chat. The voice of the Bearcats, Dylan Hutton, will talk with various Virginia High coaches and athletes each week on the radio, on location from Buffalo Wild Wings off Exit 5 in Bristol. Come enjoy wings while watching the show or listening right here on Spreaker.com. Bearcat Sports Chat, 6:30 p.m. at Buffalo Wild Wings at the Falls. Go Bearcats!
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you to keep bacteria in food from making you ill with 4 simple steps.
This will be a walk in the park.
Clean. Wash hands and surfaces often.
I'm waiting for the ring cycle.
Separate. Keep raw meats away from ready-to-eat foods.
Yep.
Cook. Make sure meat, poultry, and seafood is cooked to the right temperature.
Fire in the hole!
And chill. Refrigerate food promptly.
Bingo!
Check your steps at foodsafety.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
You're listening to the best high school football in the Tri-Cities on the Bearcat Sports Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Matt Kenseth. You don't have to be a race car driver to know that life can be full of drama. Some of it you can't control, like mechanical issues, high winds, and rain delays. But there's some drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
You just need to take that first step and find free classes near you and leave the drama for the racetrack.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Virginia High Football on Bearcat Radio on Spreaker.com.
Welcome back to Bearcat Sports Chat. We're happy to be joined by Bearcat golf coach Carlos Lee. Thank you for joining us, Coach.
Thank you all for having me. Appreciate it.
Joining us here from Buffalo Wild Wings. You're getting ready for the district tournament. Where does the team stand at the moment?
Well, right now we've been playing pretty good in our conference tournaments that we've been playing throughout this season, towards the end of the season. So, I think we should do pretty well in the conference tournament next week if we play well.
And so whenever we get near the postseason, what are you expecting from this team in this tournament? Of course, it's at home, so that's an advantage, but what are you expecting?
Well, we say that's an advantage, but it was about 5 years ago we hosted the state tournament. I had a pretty good team, and it didn't turn out too well. But hopefully, with this one going into the conference tournament, having the home court advantage right there, that we can come out and we can play well and we can win the conference and then take the team on into the region.
Do you see your team being more built around the team or the individual side of things? Which team do you think which aspect can make it further in the postseason?
Okay, we always try to build it around team. Like we tell the guys, you're playing for your team right here. And it's an individual sport along with that. But, we always try to, strive for, teamwork and everything that we do with that. And so, we hoping that we can get our team to go. But if not the team, I hope I can get at least 2 or 3 individuals to make it to the region.
So we talk a lot about other sports. We talk about baseball, basketball, football. I was a golfer at high school, and I know how much work goes into the golf team. It's more of an individual-based sport. Of course, you're out there by yourself. You don't really have an offensive line to blame or, anything, no center exchange to blame. It's you and the golf ball. You're having to take the whack at it, and in the end you're held accountable. We've seen a lot of work. When did you all officially start, and how long have you been working?
Okay, we officially started, it was in July. It was about, it was right after July the 4th, because we have that dead period where we cannot do anything around July the 4th. But right after that is when we started practicing. And actually the golfers, they're supposed to start practicing as soon as the summer's there. That's when they should get out and start playing. But we had our first match. It was July the 31st. We had the Big Six match to that at July 31st.
So once it gets started, you're really getting going in golf season.
Yes. Yeah, once we get started, it's every week, you got like 2 or 3 matches a week.
I know whenever I played, you played individual teams at Patrick Henry, but it seems like you guys are playing a tournament, basically a mini tournament, each place you go against the division. Every match that we had this year, it was like at least 4 or 5 teams at the match that we'd have. So that makes it a little bit easier on the schedule and travel-wise for everybody.
Yeah, it does. It makes it a lot easier like that.
And I know you mentioned that you want to talk about the team a little bit, but do you have one set top number 1 golfer each week, or do you have 2 guys who are able just to battle it out each week for that number 1 slot?
Well, it started out, we had a young man as our number 1, and then we had Gavin Austin that he just started, working at it and coming around, and here lately he's been our number 1, right there. So, the guys going in, they know that he's going to probably be the number 1, going into the match. But what I tell them, it doesn't matter where you seed it, okay, because it's your individual score that comes in. So, you can be seated number 6, but you come in with a score of, like a 36, that's going to be your best score. Your best score probably that round. So it's not really where you seeded on it. It's just, how you play your round.
Tell you what, Coach, I would take a 36 any day of the week.
Oh, yes, I would too.
That's a pretty darn good 6 seed if you could end up with that.
Oh. Well, yesterday, we had a match up at Holston Hills, and they had their number 2. Their number 6. He came in with a 42.
That's good for a 6.
And the best he had done, was like a 50-something earlier. So,
I played up at Holston
Hills. It can happen.
Holston Hills is a pretty nice golf course up in Marion. It used to be a private course, now turned public. And
yes,
it's a hilly place. But
it is. It's a lot of hills up there.
You're really happy they have a golf cart for you over there at Holston Hills. Of your 5 match golfers going into, basically, let's say you had a thing for that. Who is the